welcome, ayubowan. So in this lesson, we are going to have a look at active passive voice again. But the difference is, if you remember in the last lesson, we were having a look at simple present, simple past and simple future tense when we change it from active to passive voice. But in this lesson, we are having a look at the present and the past continuous tenses with by or with. So that is the main difference in this lesson, right? Now, let's have a look at what it tells. When a sentence is changed from active voice to the passive voice, in present or past continuous tense, the following structure is followed, right? So, when a sentence is changed from active to passive, if it is in the present continuous or the past continuous, it will follow the structure. The be verb plus being plus the past participle of the main verb. Alright, so let us have a look at the structure. This is the present continuous tense and this side is the past continuous tense. If it is the present continuous tense, the be verb am is are plus the being plus past participle of the main verb. If it is past continuous, was or were, which is the be verb, plus being plus the past participle of the main verb. So let us have a look at an example. The students are taking down the balloons in the hall. What are they doing? Taking down the balloons. Who are taking down the balloons? The students. What are they taking down? The balloons. Right? So the balloons in the hall, because this is the present tense, are being taking down. So take is the main verb. So the past participle of the main verb is taken down because it is also a phrasal verb, right? Taken down by the students. Let's have a look at the next one. Professor Lang was delivering a speech when we arrived. So who was delivering a speech? Professor Lang. What was he delivering? A speech. Okay. So a speech was, because it is in the past continuous tense, was plus being plus the past participle of the main verb, which is deliver. A speech was being delivered by Professor Lang when we arrived. Clear? So, when an active voice changes into the passive voice, if it is a present tense active voice sentence, when it changes into passive voice, it is the be verb, which is am, is or are, plus being, B-E-I-N-G, plus the past participle of the main verb. If it is a past continuous sentence, which is changing from the active voice to the passive voice, then it is the be verb was or were plus being plus the past participle of the main verb. And I think here the change is clear for you to see. Alright, let's have a look at the next bit. When a sentence is changed from the active voice to the passive voice, the person or the thing that does the action can be omitted if it is known or unimportant. So the same thing as I taught you in the before lesson also. If you think it is not known, or if it's not important, or if it's obvious, you don't need to put it, right? They were distributing leaflets at the university entrance in the morning. So, active voice sentence. Okay. Were distributing, so it is the past tense or past continuous. I'm going to put C there. So, okay, what were they distributing? Leaflets. By whom? They. We don't know who it is. It's not really important. So, we don't need to put it. What was being distributed? The leaflets. So, it comes to the start. Leaflets, because it is the past continuous, the be verb, leaflets is plural, so were, plus being, plus the past participle of the main verb. So, the main verb is distribute. Leaflets were being distributed at the university entrance in the morning. Right? You don't have to say by them because we don't really know who it is and it's not important. Right? So, if the person or the thing that does the action is not important, we can then omit it if it is unknown or unimportant. Alright? Next. The person or the thing that does the action can be included when it is required to highlight who or what caused the action. In such sentences, by is used before the agent. Agent means the person who does the action. Alright, so this we had a look at it in the previous lesson as well. So let's have a look at an example. The suicide bomb attack injured 50 people in the market. Okay, so this is an active voice, and which tense is it? In the past tense. It's not past continuous, it's simple past tense, right? Right, so who was attacked? 50 people, right? 50 people were injured by the suicide bomb attack, right? So, the suicide bomb attack only injured 50 people, right? What injured them? The suicide bomb attack. So, that is the subject. So, before the agent, you can see by comes into place. Or before the subject, by comes into place. If you think it is needed, if you feel you need to highlight as to who caused it, then you can include the person or the thing who does the action or what caused the action. If you feel it's not important, then like the previous example, we can get rid of it. You don't need to have the word by. Alright, so in this one you have by because it is important and you want to say it was done by the suicide bomb attack in the market. So this is passive and it still remains in the past tense because were injured. Were plus the past participle of the main verb. Alright. Okay. The next bit. When the verb refers to a state of things rather than to an action, or when it refers to an instrument that is used by someone instead of using by in the passive voice sentence, with is used, right? Now that is an important thing, okay? So one thing is when it refers to a state of things, right? It refers to a state of things rather than to an action. Or it refers to an instrument that is used by someone, right? Instead of us just using by, we use with. Let us have a look at an example, okay? The gymnasium is crowded with new students today. Okay. The gymnasium is crowded with new students today, right? So here is crowded. You don't say by new students, you say the gymnasium is crowded with new students today. You don't say the gymnasium is crowded by new students today, right? My inbox was flooded with his messages over the weekend. Refers to instrument used by someone. What did he use? He used the inbox, right? And therefore, the inbox was flooded with messages. Okay? You don't say the inbox was flooded by his messages. The inbox was flooded with his messages, right? Because it refers to something which was used by someone, or an instrument which was used by someone. So here are some of the examples that we use the passive voice, right? So use it with cram, crowd or decorate, okay? So there are two words. You use it with crowd, you use it with decorate, fill and throng, okay? So you use it with all of these words. What do you use? You don't use by, you use with instead of by. All right? So in case you don't know what throng means, before we go to the next slide, throng means a large crowd of people or animals. Right, and also in case you don't know cram means when you feel really uncomfortable, right? So crowd, decorate, fill and throng. All right, moving on, let's have a look at the next one. You must find out why B is correct and A is incorrect. Okay? So let's have a look at the first sentence. The women are making a curry at the moment. That's fine. That's an active voice sentence. And which tense is it? It's in the present continuous tense. PC means present continuous, right? So when you're changing the present continuous tense into passive voice, it should be the be verb plus being plus the past participle of the verb, right? So a curry is being making. Now, can you say making? No, because it needs to be the past participle of make, made, made. So made is the past participle, right? The women are making a curry at the moment. So a curry is being made at the moment. Okay. Though they say the women are, the sentence should be what? Subject verb agreement should be there. So a curry is being plus the past participle of the main verb made at the moment, right? So this is correct and this is wrong. Let's have a look at the next one. Active and passive, right? So this is correct and this is wrong. And that's what we have to find out. Why is it wrong? They just informed us of the train delay. They were just informed of the train delay by them. Right? So when they say they, remember it is not really important to tell us who did the action because it's not important. We don't know who they are actually. So it's not really important, right? They just informed us of the train delay. We were just informed of the train delay. So because we don't need who did the action, it's not important, it's not significant, that has been omitted, and that is why this is incorrect and this is correct. Alright, so moving to the next one, let's have a look at these two sentences. The passive voice, now remember I told you if there's an instrument involved or what? What's the rule? Remember we did it lastly, okay? So if it refers to a state of things rather than to an action. If it refers to an instrument that is used by someone like, the messages, some kind of instrument, inbox messages, right? then we can't use by, or we don't use by, we use with. So in this one, what's the instrument here? Gun, right? The target was shot by a revolver gun. The target was shot with a revolver gun. Because the revolver gun is an instrument, we say with. So B is correct and A is incorrect. All right? Okay, so moving on, cross out the incorrect words to complete the sentences, right? You're not supposed to cross out the correct one. You're supposed to cross out the incorrect verb, okay? The room is being tiled, is tiled, so we cannot go in yet. The complete collection of clothes shown was being created or was created by a well-known dressmaker. The bank vault had been blown open by or was blown open with dynamite. Currently, carbon monoxide is produced in great quantities because of the massive increase in industrial factories. Don't say factories, okay, it's factories. The invaluable necklace was stolen by a robber or was stolen with a robber. Okay. Next one. Ancient buildings are being given or are giving a new look by the Heritage Fund as a part of their restoration project. The farms in the arid zones are being sold or are selling as their owners are in financial difficulties. The party yesterday was being attended or was attended by numerous artists. A lot of new technology is being introduced, are introduced into schools to make learning more effective. English breakfast was prepared by or was prepared with the chef for the restaurant's special guests, right? Now, what I want you to do is think about what is the exact answer before we discuss it together, right? So take a few minutes, pause the video, and then do it on your own, right? So there are 10 sentences. Do it on your own, cross out the incorrect verb, and then let's have a look at the answers together. So here's 1 to 5, right? And then here's 6 to 10. If not, just write the correct verb in your book, even that would be sufficient, right? Alright, so I hope you have jotted down all the answers, right? Let us have a look at the answers. So here are the words that you should have actually crossed out. These are the incorrect ones, right? Is tiled, was being created, by is produced, with are giving, are selling, was being attended, are introduced with. Alright, so let's have a look at these answers one by one. The first one. The room is being tiled, is tiled, so we cannot go in yet. So it's something, right? Can you say is tiled? The room is tiled. We can't really say that because it's being done at the moment, right? So the room is being tiled, okay? So this is the correct answer. What are we supposed to do? Cross out the incorrect one. So I'm crossing out the incorrect one, okay? I'm circling the correct one so that you can understand that, okay? Or I'll just leave it. You can understand that if this is crossed out, then this is incorrect. I think that will be easier for you all, right? So let's see if that is the incorrect one. Yes, that is. Next one. The complete collection of clothes shown was being created or was created by a well-known dressmaker. So it was created by a well-known dressmaker. We don't have to say was being created because it's not in the present continuous tense. It is in the simple past tense because it was created, done, deal and over. So simple past tense. So was created is the correct one. So was being created is the incorrect one. So we cross that word out. Perfect. Next one. The bank vault had been blown open with dynamite. If it was blown with something, okay, you know that what was the rule here? If it is used with an instrument, okay, then what happens? Then it should be with the bank vault had been blown open with dynamite. So that's the correct one. By is wrong. So therefore, by should be the answer. The next one. Currently, carbon monoxide is produced in great quantities. So it's happening at the moment, it's being produced. So if I say is produced, that is definitely wrong. So is produced is incorrect. There you go. Next one. The invaluable necklace was stolen by or with. When you have a person, you don't use with. If it's an instrument, you use with. If it is a person, you use it by. So the invaluable necklace was stolen by a robber. So with is incorrect, and that is what you should cross out. There you go. Next one. Ancient buildings are being given or are giving a new look by the heritage. Is it happening at the moment to say are giving? No. So therefore, are giving is incorrect. Okay, are giving is incorrect. Next one. The farms in the arid zones are being sold or are selling as their owners are in financial difficulties. At the time of speaking, it's not happening. We don't say in the arid zones are selling. They are being sold. So this is correct. So what is incorrect is are selling. The party yesterday completed, right? So was attended is the correct answer. The party yesterday was attended by numerous artists. Was being attended is definitely wrong. Okay. Next one. A lot of new technology is being introduced, right? A lot of new technology are introduced. Technology acts like a singular one, okay? It's not a plural one. It's like crowd technology, okay? So it should be is being introduced. So are introduced is incorrect, okay? The last one here. English breakfast was prepared by or with. Chef is not an instrument. Chef is a person. So it was prepared by the chef. With is incorrect. Therefore, here is the answer. So we have discussed all the 10 sentences. We looked at why it was incorrect and which answer was the correct answer. All right. So moving on, let's have a look at the next activity. Fill in the blanks with the correct active or passive form of the verbs in the brackets. So here you have verbs in the brackets. You have to write the correct form and see if it's active or passive, right? And write the correct form. Currently, the infamous minister interviewed by a reporter, right? Think about the tense. Is it present tense, past tense, future tense, present continuous tense, or past continuous tense? I blank chat is your verb with my girlfriend on the phone when I was disturbed by a bark of a dog. Anton is working at the moment. He blank designed the costumes for the concert. The whole blank pack with people who are impatiently waiting for the drama to start. Okay, so impatiently waiting for the drama to start. What do you think the verb should be? Which form? Right? The next one. Their work blank, the verb is complete, yesterday, so they can have a break today. The entire area blank fill is the verb with the smell of paint as we entered. The drama on television, the verb is keep. Everybody at home entertained at this moment. The final decorations, the word is there, for the wedding reception by Susan now, right? Think about it. The word decoration is there, but what is the real thing there? Okay? We've got two more sentences. My friends dazzle, okay, is the verb. By the fireworks display on the Park Avenue last night. The water pipes in the bathroom blank check by the plumber right now. Alright, so take a few minutes, pause the video and do the answers on your own, right? Go through all the questions, right? And try to do the answers on your own. So think about it. Which tense should it be in? Now that you have done the tenses, this should be peanuts for you, right? If you're getting confused, I suggest you go back and revise the tenses and come and do active passive voice. Because some of the sentences here are very simple. It just belongs to a specific tense and you must know, right, okay, this is active. If not, if this is the structure, then it should be passive, right? So 1 to 4, jot down the answers. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, jot down the answers. Finally, 9 and 10, jot down the answers, right? So I hope you pause the video and do the activity. Right, so you must have completed the answers by now. Let us have a look at the answers. Is being interviewed, was chatting, is designing, is packed, was completed, was filled, is keeping, are being added, were dazzled, are being checked. Let's have a look at the answers one by one, right? Currently, the infamous minister, currently it's happening. So what is it? Is being interviewed. Present continuous but passive voice, right? So it should be is being interviewed, right? Because it is happening at the time of speaking, right? It is present continuous but changed into passive voice. Next one. I blank with my girlfriend on the phone when I was disturbed by a bark of a dog. So again, it was happening, right? I was chatting. I was chatting with my girlfriend because it was happening for some time in the past and therefore past continuous. Next one. Anton is working at the moment. He is. So if it's happening at the moment, he is. Designing the costumes for the concert. So that was also present continuous active, right? Next one. The hall with people who are impatiently waiting for the drama to start. The hall is packed. Okay, so passive voice sentence. Next one. Their work blank yesterday. It's completed. Nothing's happening at the moment, so was completed. It was completed by them, so their work was completed. Okay, so here the answer should be was completed. The area with the smell of paint as we entered, the entire area was filled. Right? The drama on television, everybody at home entertained at this moment. So the drama is keeping. Okay? So was filled, is keeping. Let's have a look at the next one. The final decorations for the wedding reception. Decorations are being. It's happening at the moment. And who is doing it? Susan. So passive voice are being added by Susan now. So here we go, are being added. Next one, my friends by the fireworks last night completed were dazzled. You don't need anyone else, so that is active voice. Next one, the water pipes in the bathroom. It's happening at the moment, so continuous. Right now, present continuous tense. By means passive voice. So the water pumps in the bathroom are being checked by the plumber right now. And there you go, are being checked by the plumber. All right, so let us have a look at the next activity, right? Write the incorrect sentences correctly. So here, some of the sentences are not correct. Some of them have mistakes. You have to guess, or rather not guess, have a look at it and figure out which sentences are wrong, why is it wrong, and write it properly. If you think it's correct, you need to know why it is correct. Rationalize yourself. Why is it correct? If it's correct, give it a tick, right? The canteen was filling with so many students that we couldn't find a couple of chairs to sit. The carpenter was struck by a falling beam while he was building the cupboards. The timetable is being discussed at the moment, so the teachers are free to tell their opinions, right? Now here, I feel looking at the sentences, this one is correct. Why is that? At the moment, so present continuous, right? It is happening at the moment. So the timetable is being discussed at this specific moment, right? The canteen was filling with so many students. Can you say the past continuous tense? No. How can we change it? The canteen was filled with so many students that we couldn't find a couple of chairs to sit. Second one, the carpenter was struck. You can't use present tense verb. It has to be the past participle. So we can use the carpenter was stricken, because there is by, we know, by a falling beam while he was building the cupboards, right? Now the third one is of course correct, okay? So here was filling should be changed into was filled. The canteen was filled with so many students that we couldn't find a couple of chairs to sit. You can't use was strike, there's by there, so it's definitely passive voice. It has to be was or were plus the past participle of the verb. So the carpenter was stricken by a falling beam while he was building the cupboards. The third one, of course, we discussed that is correct. Let's have a look at the fourth one. At 9 last night, the technicians were tried to reconnect. So that's wrong, right? At 9 last night, technicians, either you can say tried or they were trying to reconnect the broken wires and restore power in their area. Right? The cabinet crammed with so many boxes that everything fell out when my sister opened it, right? So this should be rather not active but passive, right? The cabinet was crammed. So crammed, right? With, because we know there's with here, with boxes and things. You know that the word cram has to come with, right? So the cabinet was crammed with so many boxes that everything fell out when my sister opened it. Right? So now we have discussed the next two as well. So you don't say were tried, either you have to say tried or they were trying, right? And you don't say cram because it's along with, so you know that it has to be a passive voice sentence. So it's simple past tense. So the cabinet was crammed with so many things, right? All right, so let us move to the next activity. Rewrite the sentences in the passive voice, right? So here you've got the active voice sentences. You need to change them into passive voice. When you are changing them, think about the tenses, think about the subject-verb agreement and the rules that I taught you as well, right? The protest turned aggressive and the protesters were burning vehicles on the streets. Okay. The police fired several shots to spread the crowd. The teachers led all the students with flags. The police led the prisoners to waiting buses. The journalist was videoing the situation despite the violent protests from the police officers, right? So pause the video a bit and go through the sentences and please rewrite the sentences to make them passive voice. Alright, so I hope that you have completed the sentences. Now let us have a look at the answers, right? The protest turned aggressive and vehicles on the streets so which tense is it? Were burning. So it is past continuous tense, right? So when it is past continuous tense, when it is changing, was or were plus the being verb plus the past participle. So the protest turned aggressive and vehicles on the streets were being burnt by the protesters. Let's have a look at the second one. Several shots so fired means simple past tense, so were fired. Several shots were fired by the police to spread the crowd. All the students with flags were led, because it is the simple past tense, were led by the teachers. Right? So here you can see how I have changed the active voice into the passive voice. You have to think about the tenses as well, right? The next one. The police led the prisoners to the waiting buses, right? The prisoners were led to waiting buses by the police, right? And the last one, the journalist was videoing the situation despite the violent protests from the police officers. Right, so let us say this one. The situation was videoing is past continuous, so it has to change into the situation was being videoed, right? The situation was being videoed by the journalist despite the violent protests from the police officers. Don't say police, okay? They are police officers. Right? So, first up, the situation was being videoed by the journalist despite the violent protests from the police officers. So here now we have got the 5 sentences and we have rewritten them in passive voice. Right? Let us have a look at the next activity. Rewrite the passage in passive voice. Again, this is an extract from Grammar Builder Book 4. All due credits and copyrights go to the authors of the book. Rewrite the passage in passive voice, right? Everyone is busy now. We are preparing the stage for our play on Saturday night. Mani and Chen are setting up the sound system. Pete and Halim are testing the lights to ensure they're working. Polly, our stage coordinator, is putting up the backdrop. Polly and her team completed all the props just 2 days ago. Now we are checking everything to make sure there will be no last-minute problems on opening night, right? So what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to rewrite this passage and change these sentences into passive voice. So please take a few minutes, pause the video and rewrite it just like this. Take a whole page and you write it as a paragraph. Rewrite it and then we will check the answers together. Right, so let us have a look at it. Everyone is busy now, okay? You really don't need to change that because everyone is busy now. There is nothing to change in it. So let's write that bit. Everyone is busy now, okay? We are preparing the stage for our play on Saturday night, okay? So our preparing is present continuous. So the stage is being prepared. Okay. The stage is being prepared for the play on Saturday night. Right. Let's have a look at the next bit. Mani and Chan are setting up the sound system, right? So, the sound system is being set up by Mani and Chan. Pete and Halim are testing the lights to ensure they are working, right? So, the lights are being tested by, who is it? By Pete and Halim. So the lights are being tested by Pete and Halim to ensure that they are working. To ensure they are working. Next one. Polly, our stage coordinator, is putting up the backdrop, right? So, the backdrop is being put up by Polly our stage coordinator. Right? The next bit. Polly and her team completed all the props just 2 days ago. Right? So, the props were completed just 2 days ago by Polly and her team. Okay, so it's by Polly and her team. Now we are checking everything to make sure there will be no last minute problems on opening. Now everything is being checked to make sure there will be no last minute problems on opening night. Right, so here we have the entire paragraph rewritten in passive voice. Everyone is busy now. The stage is being prepared for the play on Saturday night. The sound system is being set up by Mani and Chen. The lights are being tested by Pete and Halim to ensure they are working. The backdrop is being put up by Polly, our stage coordinator. The props were completed just 2 days ago by Polly and her team. Now, everything is being checked to make sure there will be no last-minute problems on opening night. Right, so with this, we have come to the end of the lesson. And what was our lesson all about? It was about active passive voice, but we were looking at present and past continuous tense using with by and with. Okay, so we had a look at the rules, we had a look at how it changes from active to passive, what is the form of the present continuous and the past continuous tense when it changes from active to passive. Then we had a look at lots of practice questions, and finally we did a whole paragraph to change it from active to passive voice. So with that, we come to the end of the lesson, active and passive voice, but for the present and past continuous tenses with by or with.